all skin folk
And
ain't skin folk. Okay. Well, if everybody didn't know, they can go online and they can pull it up. There today is supposed to be the first day starting a boycott because of the disrespect from other from African immigrants. I'm just going to go ahead and say what it is. There have been immigrants, African, Jamaican, and quite a few people that we wouldn't have expected to have disrespect us so bad by calling us names like lazy, good for nothing, they can do it better. They come over here and do things better than us, and they don't see the big picture. I know you got a lot to say about it, Rob, but a lot of people don't realize how this really hurts, especially for us as Americans, because we have welcomed, we have paved the way to make it easier for for dark immigrants like us to come over here, and we've tried to embrace them, you know, and not for you to come over here and start thinking that you're better than us. So, Dots, could you just show a little bit?
Oh, before we get, yes, I'll cue that up. But I did want Rod just to sort of lay the field down a little bit about this FBA boycott, because Freedom was really, she was sending me a lot of clips about it, and I heard about it, but I'm not really in the know. So while I'm pulling that up, if you can, what is this boycott about?
It's about waking up.
Thank you.
Listen, we over here been paid for the world for 500 years. We got no benefit from it. Every time we try to pool our resources and work together, somebody that ain't us, that look like us, is always in the middle. Saboteurs, agent provocateurs. Once we start waking up to who we is, we gonna automatically start holding our dollars back from immigrants, whether they African immigrants, Arab immigrants, Chaldean immigrants, Asian immigrants, because that awakening make you take control of your resources by nature. For us to be like, enough is enough, we done been courteous, we done been kind, we done been respectful, we done been giving freely from the heart, we done asked for nothing, and y'all abused us, y'all misused us, y'all stepped on us, spit on us, kicked us, y'all fried us, y'all barbecued us, baked us, roasted us, everything y'all could do, but we still here. And guess what? That refining process of everything they did to us gave birth to this generation here. The buck stops here. And when you see them making these efforts, boycott effort means unity effort. You can't boycott when there ain't no unity. It's unsuccessful. Right? That's why they want to keep breaking up workers' unions. Because if you can keep breaking up the worker union, then the corporations can control the narrative instead of the worker. It's the same thing with us as a people. If they keep busting up our unity every time we turn around, then the corporations called the United States is reaping the benefits, and we suffering the consequences of their exploitation. So if the foreigner to come over here and treat us with our proper respect and our proper due, we not gonna never move the world power structure from oppressing everybody else. Because we the only ones can change the system by self-awareness, self-knowledge, and the verbal articulation of our tribal right to assert our land jurisdiction. If we don't start speaking up for ourselves, they just gonna keep taking advantage of us. So when you hear them talk about boycott, it ain't got nothing to do with Africans. It ain't got nothing to do with no foreigners. It got everything to do with us deciding to stick together on something and look out for the ones that been deceiving us the whole time, that look like us but ain't us. Hide behind pale faces so we can't see their dirty hands throwing the rocks.
Well, I want to say this. I think that the boycott is right. I think that if you want to say this, that, and another that's negative about us who paved the way for them to come over here and to easily come over here and live after how they live, where they live at. How do you think if we don't go in their shops, because we're the ones who patronize them, we're the ones that go in. I ain't never seen a Chinese person in a Chinese store buying no daggone chicken wings. Okay, when I go to the braiding shops, all I see is our people in there. I see them braiding our hair, but I don't see their people sitting between and well, however.
You musty goats.
Right. Okay. The ones that they're putting down that's that they're calling lazy, it's giving them $200 a pop every time they go get their hair done. Okay. So the ghetto ones that they're talking about is the ones that's going in their shops that is paying them the money. It's us that's going in these shops that's patronizing them and trying to welcome and be in unity with them, and they could downgrading us. And it's wrong.
But that go back to self-awareness again, though, Sister Freedom. Because I know sisters from the projects in Chicago that can braid better than all of them put together. Absolutely. But we don't patronize her because she's braiding in her living room.
Oh, no, we do here in Wilmington, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but see, what I'm talking about is the self-awareness enough to know we don't need nobody to do nothing for us. Everything that we need to do for us, we are capable and willing to do it for ourselves. The problem is we always outsourcing for other people to do what we better at than them. Mm-hmm. Right? We better at it than them. We didn't braid hair, weaving blankets longer than anybody else on the planet. Cornrows is an American phenomenon that was transported to the world. Right? So if they go into the African shop and they bypass the sister that work out of her living room on that side street, they looking for the same reason why they're not buying American-made car. They're looking for a foreign. They have no trust and belief and faith in what you can do, and you misplacing it. All it is showing is that we waking up to our own foolishness to stop supporting people that's not supporting us. That's all we can. That's what we supposed to do. And now is the best time to do it because we didn't hijack the whole algorithm in the world shaking in their boots because we didn't figure out who we is and who we always been. We the first families of the earth. Mm-hmm. The out of Africa theory, they didn't even know about America when they came up with that BS. Everybody ain't out of Africa.
It's true.
There's more people out of America than it is out of Africa. We the ones populated the world as the Atlanteans. We the ones gave Kemet their high sciences under Tahuti, who came from over here. Right? So we looking at the world from a Eurocentric perspective, and as long as we see the world from the perspective that was given to Europeans, they didn't even teach themselves. Let that sink in. The European perspective is not even an original perspective from Europe. The Greek priest was taught by pharaohs out of Egypt. The daughters of the pharaohs settled Greece. Right? Then Rome was settled by Akkadians and Assyrians out of the Middle East, what they call it today. Right? So they gave them Latin, and the Egyptians gave them Greek. Mm-hmm. Right? And that became the scholarly languages of Europe. Russian is a spinoff of Greek. And Spanish, French, Portuguese are spinoffs from Latin. Right? So when we get back to the origin of everything, America wasn't considered when they was coming up with the doctrine. American anthropology and archaeology only 200 years old.
Wait, what doctrine are you talking about? America wasn't considered when they came up with what doctrine are you talking about?
Archaeology and anthropology.
Oh, okay. The science,
Right.
like the sciences. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So they didn't even start. They haven't even been studying us longer than 200 years. We do not fit in the paradigm of out of Africa that's built on the teachings of who they call Socrates, the father of history, or is it Hippocrates? Socrates.
Socrates, yeah, the father of philosophy, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. Father of history.
I don't know why everything.
The father of history, they call it. It's one of them Greek philosophers that they credit with being the father of history, right? And that's how long they've been developing the philosophy and theory of the out of Africa theory. America wasn't in the equation because before 1492, they didn't believe anything was across the ocean, and if you go that way, you're going to fall off. Right? So, when we're looking at the out of Africa theory, that don't account for all of them Egyptian-style pyramids and temples in the Grand Canyon that's thousands of years older than Egypt. They're the ones in Peru, right? The Nazca lines. All that stuff older than almost all of the ancient artifacts everywhere else on the planet. Right? We got the in Teotihuacan, we got the damn breeding laboratory where the genetic engineering was taking place to develop the avatar to be self-replicating. Right? So you don't have to keep jumping avatars every time one break down. You would just go out of that one and birth into another one as long as you keep a continuous line of descent. Right? The 7 faces. That's the 7 archetype or the facial structure of all of the species of humans on the planet. Mm-hmm. They all in there, from the Australian Aboriginal to the Africans to the Hindus to the Chinese to the Americans. All 7 faces, and they in stone, and it's older than your Egyptian pyramid complex. Right? We talking Mount Titicaca, ancient developments of agriculture that's older than your Sumerian agriculture in the Middle East. We don't want to talk about that because now it spoils the out of Africa theory. So they start trying to scramble dates and everything, but we have calendars that they can't dispute, like the Aztec calendar. Right? But they don't know that one wheel is not just that one place. They got a Mayan wheel that's in a different place, right? They got a Tunica wheel in a different place. They got all these mounds are time machines. They telling you time like a clock, right? And they telling you where we was at what time frame, and how long we stayed there. All this stuff is recorded in the modern archaeological record, but they don't want to accept the dating that they coming up with. Whether it's their uranium dating, their carbon-14 dating, their plutonium 221 dating, whatever they use, they keep getting frustrated because they're trying to hold on to the out of Africa narrative.
And then everyone comes from the Lucy, right? Who looks like a freaking hybrid monkey or gorilla.
No, Lucy wasn't even a human.
But
Lucy was a prehistoric hominid. A prehistoric bipedal hominid that date back 3.5 years ago, found in the Old d'Ivoire Guard. Her species is called proconsul. She before Neanderthals. The only thing Lucy had related to anything in modern times is the DNA matrix called mitochondria. That's it. Every functional DNA helix on the planet got mitochondria.
Lucy was the original Frankenstein. They actually put parts together all over the place and then called her Lucy. He was.
So they had that recorded how they was mixing bones, giving false archaeological background to bones, half baboon, half human, bones glued together. They are all of that stuff has been proven. A lot of those artifacts was proven to be fake,
Okay.
created, manufactured.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
the story, though, listen, I tell you, the story didn't change. When they discovered the artifact was fake, they said the artifact is fake, but our story of evolution is still the same.
See, the problem is with us is we fall for anything. And the main reason why I believe that we patronize so many different other people than us is because we done hyped it up so much that we're so-called African that we was actually trying to become it, hyping ourselves up by going in these shops and eating, trying to eat the food. The food, woo, I can't do it. I cannot eat their food.
But even with that Lucy thing, right? Because I remember when I first learned about that, because if it's written in a book, y'all, if it's written in a book, then it must be true. You know what I mean? So I remember learning about Lucy, and I was I'm sitting in my college classroom, right? Like literally, maybe it's me and somebody else of the only melanated hue, but I'm sitting in this classroom and they're talking about Lucy and the origins of humanity and da-da-da. And I'm looking, I'm saying to myself, like Harlem comes on real tough. I'm like, hey, son, you mean to tell me that it took British anthropologists to come into Africa, like peep game, y'all. It took a European to come into Africa to discover, right? This what did you call her? Frankenstein of a woman named Lucy.
Absolutely.
To myself, you mean to tell me that these
Okay, let's go back over the story of how they discovered the bones. First of all, the Leakeys didn't discover it.
I'm sorry, y'all.
It was the Kenyan helpers that was with them that they told what they was looking for, and they went back and brought the bones to Lucy to them.
So I was saying to myself, one thing that came to my mind, Rod, I'll never forget this. Freedom, 1 second. One thing that came to my mind, Rod, was I was saying to myself, wait a minute, wouldn't an African, somebody who's native, somebody who has lived there, wouldn't they have discovered these fossils or this human being if there was one? How does it take an outsider, a quote-unquote colonizer, right? Someone who doesn't know the landscape, someone who doesn't know the land whatsoever, to discover the mother of humanity, allegedly. And this is the stuff that's repetitive and that goes on and on and on. And I remember sitting in my college class like, yo, they really playing with us right now. And I'm looking and people just go writing. But you know that when you're in college, the bottom line is you're there for a reason, right? And so I always say that, like you start to parrot what you are expected to say. That's it, that's all. But that's not wisdom. And that doesn't make it true. It's just that it was in a book that's been reprinted. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make it true.
Doesn't make it true at all.
It's just wild to me. All right, but with the FB, you guys are in the chat. I see it's 164 people that's in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We see y'all. Sharice, what's up? All our mods, we love y'all. Family, cousins in the chat, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. When we do the link. I'm gonna pull up the video. Y'all can keep on talking. I'm gonna just cue up the video, and then we'll play a bit of it.
Guys, I'm about to see the one related to what you were just talking about, and I want you to pull it up and play it.
Well, listen. Here's the thing. I think that the threat of the boycott has the Africans on the run, meaning now they're admitting that they're disrespectful. That's why I want you to play it. Play this.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to play it, but he wants me to play this first. What we were just talking about with Lucy, and then we're going to play that.
Hold on one second.
That's no problem.
He's sending it, yeah. And then that way we'll jump right into what we were talking about with the boycott, because that's a good topic, Freedom.
Yeah, it is.
Are y'all enjoying yourself so far? By the way, if you guys agree with the boycott, y'all can put a 1 in the chat. Let us know what. Okay, I see it.
This, I love how she explained this. This is so accurate to what you're saying about the Leaky's discoveries. Some European came in, and now all of a sudden he exists now. Like we wasn't here before they got here, but since they came, now we here. Like what the hell is that?
Okay, Rod, this is on TikTok.
So Crowley did exactly what he said. He didn't stay with Blavatsky long because she was putting the secrets out in the open. He didn't stay with Israel Regardie long because he was putting the secrets out in the open. Right? He didn't even want to touch Rudolph Steiner because he wasn't scared of too many people. But Rudolph Steiner wasn't his cup of tea, nor was Franz Bardon. Right? But Crowley did exactly what he said he was going to do. Expose the church and expose the lodge. He put the lodge business out in the open. They put a hit on him. He just survived it.
And they ran him up out of, was that England? They ran him up out of somewhere where their main stronghold was. He got ran up out of there. And they moved him out the country. It was Switzerland or somewhere. He got ran up out of there.
Yeah, he ended up, I think he died on a little island outside of Italy.
Yeah, he was trying to do this 6-month spell, the longest spell they got in their spell book.
Well, if you don't do the maintenance on them, then they dissipate. It's energy.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's like driving a car. If you don't put no gas in it, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The same engine that you burn gas in, with a few tweaks, you can burn water in it.
Yeah.
So the great deception come in and them telling you that the only way you can get this amount of power out of this engine is you got to use fossil fuel.
Yeah. 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 It's already somebody that they already converted it in the 1800s. Over here, we had cars running off of water. They come to find out that's what that dude was breaking down that clip. I ain't played the whole clip, but he said that we were more advanced. Like Nikola Tesla was just a cover up. Like he saying that we already had lights and plumbings and like sewer systems and everything over here before Christopher Columbus came. Like sewer systems.
Yeah, we had all that.
And trains and stuff.
We wasn't no Stone Age spear chucking backwoods. We didn't need weapons.
Yeah.
We only needed weapons to hunt. We didn't need weapons to fight war. We didn't have them kind of wars.
Yeah.
If it got bad enough, my chief gonna fight your chief.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or they gonna pick their champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say if it was a war to be won with the fist, Big Tookie and Mike Tyson would have took it a long time ago. It wasn't about that. Those were what they call them. Those were bullet points on the essay. Somebody that can do it all. It wasn't about physics. Because it was about physics, Lord Quartermain would have took that. Because they couldn't create atomic bomb out of Einstein's formula until they called in Lloyd Quartermain. It ain't about education, because Carter G or Amos Wilson, hockey model booty, they all would have took that a long time ago. Right? Half of this stuff Elijah would have took. There's some boys in the nation got them hands.
Yeah.
And, they just don't run around fronting that they got them hands, but don't pull up on one and try to find out.
Yeah, right.
Right? But, he was turning out champions of all caliber. He had Ali. Right? He had great authors that we look back now, we read these books. Some of them that wasn't formal members, like Dr. Clark, but he was feeding information to Elijah. Yeah. And Malcolm. And Martin. Right? Dr. Ben was feeding them information to keep their education program ahead of the fallacy. Right? So you got people like Chancellor Williams, whose information was fed through the nation. Destruction of black civilization.
I guess I'm
right?
coming out.
A lot of that information, if the nation wasn't showing us what to read, we wouldn't have knew what we needed to read versus what they told us to read. We wouldn't have knew that we needed our information to offset what they was telling us, right? I was ordering college textbooks, but at the same time, I was in the Final Call bookstore and I was in the Ansuala bookstore ordering books from us. Right? They had this. I had this one catalog called African World Books out of Philadelphia. I was ordering books out of, but then I was ordering books out of Edward R. Hamilton, and my brother and sister paid for all the knowledge. That's why I can give it away for free. It's been paid for already. It was paid. It was prepaid. Right? I paid attention and they paid the bill. Right? So it's been double paid at that point, triple paid, because it was a brother, sister, myself, and then my attention. Right? So we was getting together, trying to formulate an understanding of what was taking place. I didn't know I was going to be the chief they was going to call for this. I was living my life. But then the codes start coming in, and you can't duck them because you get bombarded by them. They activate you. You can't help it. You got to move in a certain direction. People think you insane. So I had to go get a psyche valve to prove I wasn't insane. So I sat there and told the history of psychiatry and psychology to the psychiatrist, who was perplexed. Why are you even here? You know this better than me. You are definitely not insane. But you got to also remember, intelligent people, smart people, sound totally batshit crazy to dumb people.
Right. Yeah, bro. Okay, we're going to roll about 2 or 3 more, then we'll take some questions. I got another good one to roll. Let me roll and ask a question right there. Now, so based on what we getting is there any artifacts that could potentially awake the more, or wake it with people of this land? Okay, now that's what the question was. Now, he said that there was Phoenicians and Hebrew writing, right? We know that the Phoenicians were tall. Some of them could have been 7 foot tall, like Shaquille O'Neal height, because the Watusis are naturally tall. If you go look at the Watusi, they the tall tribe, and then we had, because they showed based on the artifacts that we seen, the ones that we was able to some kind of way get pictures of, or what people told us, that they had 2 different type of phenotypes. The one was the Watusi looking, that's the Phoenicians, the ones they said the Phoenicians, they was about the Great Lakes. They populated the whole Mississippi, the old Mississippians. And then they had another shorter group that kind of resembled the Twa man. And then they had another group, which they found these guys everywhere. They found one of these guys frozen in the ice in Antarctica. These are far people, right? They are far people. So they found them guys over here. So, man, what would that do? I mean, the truth is out now. But what does that gonna do for the whole paradigm? Their whole paradigm falls down. We got to start back from the beginning and start from scratch, all the way from the beginning, because the whole storyline don't start from Africa. It starts off from nowhere. It start here.
Right. Well, you gotta remember, they just started studying over here.
Yeah.
Because the goal was never to give us any information related to anything over here. Right. And so when they tell a narrative and they out of Africa theory, if you incorporate what was going on in the Americas during the whole out of Africa time frame, it spoils the narrative.
It hurt their feelings.
Right. So you see, the artifacts that they collected tell the story.
Yeah.
This is why they have to always conceal them and destroy the bodies, conceal the bodies, take the skulls off the bodies, certain stuff that they was doing.
Blow the whole
all to design to control the narrative. Everything started in the Americas.
Right. It would be no other reason to cover it up. If it went to what the storyline they gave us, if the storyline they gave us was legit, it'd be no reason for the Smithsonian Institute. The Smithsonian, and then they said they had a fire where after they collected all those artifacts, and then 1885, right after the Civil War, they burned down. It was 65. They burned down. What it was 65 or 85. All of a sudden, the place burned down to the ground. Huh?
It was 65 because I noticed it was not too long after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, it wasn't just the Smithsonian that burned during that time period. It was all of the records across the land. It was burning the churches that had the records in them, the libraries that had records, the city halls that had records. All of them was catching fire. That's why most of my mama history has been burned up in the fires, because they in Magnolia they burned down the library with all the records in it.
I heard my granddaddy say something like that they burned we didn't have no birth tickets, they burned it down.
Yeah. So we had land diagrams that we used to use to map out our plot of land. That's what they was mainly trying to destroy, so that we won't be able to say this was on my land.
Yeah.
They didn't want us. This was before they came out with something called an alloidial title. That didn't have nothing to do with us. That was European record keeping.
Yeah.
Right? But once they gave us the records, we started asking questions, and the questions led to us seeking the answers where we couldn't get it from them.
Yeah.
Because we know that they have to put it in the public domain somewhere. We just have to locate it. We just didn't know that they would be telling it to us in news stories.
Yeah.
And using the big screen and political satire to control the narrative. But they've been doing it the whole time. And the same people was behind it. The unseen hand. The black hand.
Real slick. So they saying red hair giants. Now, if you go and look at the South Bantu people, which was over here, Bantu people was over here. They put this red dye in their head. The tribe. I know you probably seen that before, right? So that's when they saying red hair people. They talking about these Bantu peoples.
No, you talking about the ones that use the red clay.
Right. And that's
we literally had red heads over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, with our Nana, I know about with the red hair, green eyes, our Nana's daughters. But I'm talking about also that's what he talking about though. He talking about the red head, the Bantu that they used to put the red dye. He talking about that people. He ain't talking about the Adabaric connection with our Nana. That's a whole nother connection. You know what I'm saying? With our green eye family.
He would have identified if it was clay. If it was red clay.
I'm telling it.